board of Pee Wee Homes. And it's a privilege to stand before you all and just share with you all one of my passions. My passions is to get people off the streets and put them somewhere so they can have a key in their hands. And once you get a key in your hand, you can lock the door or open the door. And that's the thing that we are basically all about, is putting people off the streets into houses. It's like 30% of your income. And one of the main ideas of Pee Wee Homes were, we had a guy called Pee Wee. And Pee Wee was a brick mason here in Chapel Hill. And when he came able to not afford somewhere to live, what happened was we put him in the first home. And our houses got to the point that they was too big to put on a truck somewhere that we built from ground up. So what happened then that we changed the name into Pee Wee, because first it was small houses, tiny homes. There was tiny home first. And then they turned into Pee Wee Homes. And then when we start giving people a key, we felt so powerful in this town. We felt so honored to giving somebody somewhere to lay their head, to get them away from out there in the elements. Because it's not good out there. It's not good out there. And one thing I think about when I was young, my mother always said, you can run me home, but you can't run away from home. And see, once we give them the key to unlock the door, they're able to be independent again. Because you all, when you start losing the little things that you love, like your shirts, your pants, your table, all those things that were so good to you, when you start losing those things, you lose your rights. And see, by giving them this key, they're being able to start life over, be able to breathe, and have an understanding that this is mine. Because once you take away something that belongs to you, it kills you. It tears your heart out. But we are aiming to ruin the life of homelessness here in Chapel Hill and Carrboro. And it's a great honor to fight for these people. And I'm going to try not to talk no more. And then they were talking about the fashion show. Now, the fashion show, when the fashion show was to raise money, because I kept thinking all the ways that can raise money. Because see, I teach quilting, and I used to make clothes a lot. So I did 70-some garments and had the fashion show to raise money. And you know what? I raised, with the Lord's help, now you can't forget about him, with the Lord's help, I raised $2,200 to put a black eye on homelessness.
So hello, everyone. How are you? I would like to say the gentleman's name, who we named it, eventually named it after. His name was Nathaniel Lee, and they called him Pee Wee. So in September of 2025, no, let's go back to February. February of 2025, his birthday is February the 5th. He turned 81 years old. And September 2025, September 27th, Pee Wee passed away. But he leaves a legacy of 10 houses in 10 years. We're going on our 11th year, and we plan on building 10 more houses in 10 more years. Now we have the opportunity to build villages, so it will be more than 10. Folks are hearing about what we are doing, and they have become interested in helping us with this fight for homelessness. Our houses are normally for 55 plus. Their rent is not over 30% of their income. So we are providing little homes, little Pee Wee homes that's no bigger than our homes are no bigger than 2-car spaces. But we are providing homes that are very affordable, because you want to remember that we're doing this so they can have a home that they can stay in. Because if you ever sat in a seminar about affordable housing, the big thing is housing first. If we can just get them in the house, we've done good. But a lot of times these folks are chronically homeless. So that means they've been homeless more than one time in their lives. So, we wanted to find a way to say, hey, this is your home and you don't have to leave. You can if that's what you choose to. A lot of our people may decide to go and move in with their adult children if they, are getting older, or they just leave and go to heaven, but they don't have to leave as long as they are able to be independent, self-sufficient. They can stay in these homes, and it's very affordable because it's only 30% of their income. Now, there are income limits. You can only make so much to live in these homes. But I'm thinking that we're trying to create a community of folks to help them live again. And so David was talking about a key, and I thought that was so that's kind of what drew me to Pee Wee Homes, to hear him talk about how important it is to have your own key to your own home. And so I added 2 more keys to not just getting a home. Okay, how do we help them stay in a home? So my title is Resident Support Specialist. So we do care plans for our residents. We help them recertify for their Medicaid and their Social Security and those things that may slip through the cracks just because of them not missing their appointments or what have you, to make sure that these things that they need are vital to their lives. And so the resident support specialist in the department is focusing in on helping them stay in their homes. What are the variables? What are the things that come up against a resident? What keeps them homeless chronically? So we came up with 5 pillars. The 5 pillars are social, it is health, it is finances, it is aging in place, it is community, not being community serviced, not being community connected. So I want to invite you guys to pull out your phone. You have your phones. I hope everybody got their phones. And I want you, this is really, we're going to Google University here. I tell you, it's the best school there is. If you type in Pee Wee Homes, we will come up. If you hit that button, you'll see Pee Wee homes in orange and pictures of what our homes look like. There are 3 dots depending on what kind of phone, whether it be Samsung or your Apple. There are 3 dots on the side. Not 3 dots, but the 3 lines on the side, and it should come up and you will see our vision. There is a picture of Mr. Nathaniel Lee, in short, Pee Wee. Our mission is to create dignified, affordable, tiny homes in a caring community for and with people transitioning out of homelessness. So Pee Wee Homes is largely ran on volunteers. We have volunteers that come and help move people in when it's their time to come and move into their new homes. We have volunteers. We have care teams that we create around some of our more vulnerable residents that need extra help with different things in their lives. And we've created these care teams for folks that just want to be a part of our organization. They want to help. And if I have any folks in here today that would like to come and volunteer, there is also another it's on our website where you can put in your information and you will get a call back from me or a young lady by the name of Miss Alyssa. And so we have a couple of staff, but mostly it's volunteers. You have your executive director. His name is Quentin Harper. Then there's me. My name is Katina Welch. I am the resident support specialist. And we have a few other folks that do little jobs, smaller jobs in our organization. We're a small organization, but we got a big, big heart. And you think about 10 homes in 10 years, that's pretty good. We get a lot of our funding from local government, a lot of our funding from folks that just go in their pockets, write the checks. We get a lot of funding from other organizations that don't do quite what we do, but they like what we do. And so they give to us, especially because it's headed towards the elderly community. And so I really wanted to talk to you guys about just getting involved. There's so much we can do when these people are moving in. A lot of times they don't have anything. They've had these storage bills that was way, way, way out of reach and out of touch, and they had to get rid of the storage because they couldn't afford to pay for it. When you're homeless, you can't keep up with your wallet. You can't keep up with your important papers. You can't keep up with anything. You're sleeping in the car. You're sleeping on the bench. You're hanging out with friends. You've exhausted family members. A lot of folks want to put on a red cape and say, you can come and stay with me and we'll help. But a lot of times it takes a community to help a person to get back on their feet. And that's what Pee Wee Homes does, helping to stabilize you once you get back in your home. There is the second key, which is the resident support. And the third key is the community, the volunteers, the people that care, the people that call, the people that invite you to church, the people that invite you to these type of meetings because they want to hear about what you're doing. You are very important to us, each and every one of you. And so I think there was one more thing I want to talk about, which is we have residents that become involved in our organization. Once they, can catch once they can catch a breather and get comfortable and not have to worry about being harmed or hurt or hungry or cold or hot, they want to become part of our boards, want to become part of what we are doing to help someone else. And that is why I am proud to introduce you to Miss Loretta Bryant, who has been a recipient of our Pee Wee Homes. And she's on our boards and she's helping us make decisions because we want to hear from them. What is it that you need help with? What is it that you need assistance with? What is it that we can do to make sure that you are comfortable in your home and that you feel safe and no one is coming to put you out? So without further ado, Miss Loretta Bryant.
Hello. I'm so honored to be here to tell you my story. And my story, I started out, I was running my own business and that the Lord gave me, a cleaning business. Loretta's Do Right Cleaning was the name of it. And I was running my own business. I was married, had a husband, and had all my children, and my children were grown and going off and doing their own thing. And my marriage crumbled. When my marriage crumbled, I lost my home. And when I lost my home, I became homeless. And when I became homeless, by me being a saved, sanctified, and Holy Ghost filled woman, God was right there. He never left me. He never left me and he never forsake me for 1 minute. I went to live with my daughter, and for 5 years, that's where I was. It wasn't easy at all. If you know anything about living with your children, once you start living with your children, they think they become the mama and the daddies of you. They think, oh, you're in my house now and things go my way. So it wasn't easy. There was a lot of ups and downs and all around and crying and tears and whatever have you. I ended up losing my business. I let the business go, except for what I could just do for myself. Because I had employees, people was working for me, I had contracts, and I was all over the place. So I had to let all of that go. So one day I was at work and my client says to me, she says, I need your email address. And so I said, okay. And I give her my email address and she sends me an application for Pee Wee Homes. And I was like, what is this? And so I'm looking through, I said, oh my goodness, a Pee Wee Home. So I proceeded to try to get it all filled out and try to get the stuff back in. And then they called me in for a meeting. I was, oh my God, a meeting. And I go in and I meet with them and they're wonderful, wonderful people. And I met with them and I talked with them. And a few weeks later, I got the phone call. We would love for you to come. Now, that wasn't nobody but God. I'm just going to tell you straight up, yeah, I filled out application, but it won't nobody but God because they could have picked anybody, but they picked me. And so I got the phone call. I went and looked at the house, and I know Katina said it's only 2 car spaces, but I'm gonna tell you something. If you really want to see what the inside of a Pee Wee Homes look like, go to YouTube, put in Pee Wee Homes, my home, and me will pop up. You will see what the inside of my home looks like from the front door to the back. And I'm gonna tell you, it ain't that small. It is not that small where you cramped in this little space. I have a beautiful home, beautiful layout, brand new from the foundation to the roof, and the ceiling is a cathedral ceiling. It's a very high up ceiling. Everything is high, and they put in these homes safety first. The windows, safety. The doors, safety. It's not so easy to get into or to break into a Pee Wee home. So I feel very safe living in this home. Now, can somebody break in the house? Yeah. And even though they designed it that way, God is the ultimate keeper of my soul. He is the ultimate keeper of me, period, first and foremost. But if somebody get the idea that I'm going to break in here, by the time they get in there, I be done call 911 because they're going to have a hard time getting in because it's built so well. Now, I have lived in my Pee Wee home now going on 4 years, and Katina is great. She is wonderful at her job and what she does. I am 61 years old. I'll be 62 in 2 days. And Katina helps me with a lot of things. Now, I've just been diagnosed with something, but I give it to the Lord. But Katina is there to help me along the way. So it's not like they move you in and they'll say, hey, okay, pay the rent and that's it. You have somebody there to help you, like she say, aging in place as you getting old, as you're getting older. I have 13 grandchildren. I have great grand, and sometimes they come over, my children come, and it's just great to have them in my little home and can visit grandma, can visit great grandma, and they come in there and they love it. They say, oh my God, look at this. This is built. Everybody that walks in is like, oh my, I had the police come in. The police say, what is this? And I said to him, I said, would you like to see what this is? And he said, yes. And he walked up and he was like, oh my God. He was looking around there. And he said to me, he says, there a back door? I said, no. I said, it's a duplex. So on the other side of me is Denise. And she's on the other side. So I guess he wanted to know if there was a back door because it's the woods back there. So I guess he wanted to know if anybody could come in or break in from the back. And everybody that comes in is wow at how, and I really have to say, Pee Wee, once I got in, I joined the organization, so I'm on the board. And I do now, I do applications for others to get in to Pee Wee Homes, do interviews for other people to come in to Pee Wee Homes. Me, myself, I don't drink, I don't smoke. I love the Lord. And so God is the head of my life. So God put me there, and he put me there for a reason. Now, I know some people have other things going on, and sometimes putting somebody in a home when they have other things going on. I think sometimes we need to deal with the other things before you put people in a home. I think sometimes if you have, if you're dealing with this or dealing with that, sometimes things need to be dealt with from the root up, because we can't deal with people once you put them in a house, and then you got to deal with this and deal with that and deal with that and deal with that. We're not that type of organization. We need to be able to deal with the person that has this or that going on. You need to deal with that first. And then once you got that straight and got that out of the way, you can put them in a home and help them stay in that home, help them flourish, help them grow, give them what they like, watering a plant and giving it the sun, giving it the water to help it grow, keep it warm, keep it cool, give it what it needs to grow, to flourish, and to be what God has called it to be. This is not my final chapter, but God is still growing my chapter. God is still growing my life. God is still doing, he's telling the story, he's writing the story. And while he's writing the story, I am living out what he is writing. So that is it for me. And, huh? Yeah, I told him I was on the board. Yeah, y'all did hear me say I was on the board. Yes, I'm on the board, and I love being on the board and making the decisions and you choosing, you know, applications for others to be on the board. And this has really helped my life. This has really, really helped my life. Now, my daughter came to my house and she says, nice. This is real nice. This is all you need. And it is. It's really all I need. And she said, this is really all you need. But what I really needed was to be out of her house and, and to be in my own house. And Pee Wee Homes made that accessible to me. So I thank you all for listening to us talk today. And Pee Wee Homes really is God sent to a lot of people. We are working, trying to get people off the streets, trying to help people, trying to get people back on track. And that's what they need. They need it to know that somebody cares. Somebody cares that I'm sleeping out in the elements. Somebody cares that I'm sleeping in my car. Somebody cares that I don't have food. They want to know that somebody cares. And Pee Wee Homes, we do care. That's what we're about. You come on.
So I wanted to talk really fast. I wanted to go back over my pillars. It's health, finances, social, community, and aging in place. I wanted to talk about finances really quick. We decided to put an escrow account within each package of our Pee Wee Homes. And in our escrow account, every month as they pay their rent, you have some money taken out of that account. So all year long, every year, we have a certain percentage taken out of the rent that they pay for their safety, to secure them. If something comes up, somebody loses a job, or heaven forbid something happens to a check, SSI check, a disability check, or whatever is their income, then they have that to fall back on. And also, what we do with that escrow is if there's something big that they need to do, somebody broke a phone, or somebody needs to put tires on their car, or whatever it is there for them to use. It is put to the side. So we're always evolving. We're always thinking about how can we help secure them. where they feel safe and they're secure. And if something happens, oh no, I got to get out because this thing happened to me. Something happened to my income. So that's what a lot of the fundraising is for. That is what a lot of the grant writing is for. There is a specific department, resident support department, that a lot of our money goes to. It is to undergird our residents. And that's what really sets us apart when it comes to affordable housing. Everybody hadn't quite got that concept that is not just getting in there, it's how do I stay? Ms. Loretta was talking about the issues of life. Some people have issues with drugs. Some people have issues with alcoholism. Some people, like, there are so many different categories that can make you become homeless. For me, I thought it was just people, when I would see somebody on the street, I thought they were just lazy. And it's so easy to have a one-way street thinking when it comes to homelessness until it happened to me. And I wasn't lazy because I was working 3 jobs. And so I was thrown into that life where I'm working 3 jobs. I'm spending all hotel rooms. I'm trying to go from, figure out what I'm going to eat, put gas in the car, pay the hotel bill. And that's when my passion started to grow, when I found out that some people become homelessness because of mental illness. Some people become homeless because of domestic violence. Some people become homeless because they don't never saw a budgeting plan in their whole life. They don't have financial literacy information and education. There are so many different avenues, levels of it. So once I began to go through that myself, I began to problem solve, because we can talk about problems all day long, but what is the solution? We have to become a solution. The solutionist community, a solution nation, not just highlight problems. And so for me, coming into the Pee Wee Home organization, I came with solutions. I come and walked in the door with ideas of how we can undergird people so they don't have to revisit this again. And that's a message that I wanted to also get to you all.
Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. That was really exciting and informative and gives us a lot of ideas of maybe how we might be able to help possibly. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm getting to it. I'm coming. I'm a little slow today. Give me a minute. Okay. That's all right. Anytime you want to jump in, you can jump in. Okay, so our society is an all-volunteer organization, and we receive no money from any other organizations. We survive due to your commitment to our common goals. So we pass a basket, and we thank you in advance for our generous donations, and these donations will be given to you. What comes from the basket? Oh, here I am. I'm on stereo. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so the baskets will go around. There's 2 of them. Okay, so ground rules for question and answer. We'll ask all 3 of our speakers. First, you raise your hand, wait for the microphone, ask only 1 question at a time, and please let everyone get a chance to ask a question before the second one. Of course, not everybody's going to ask, but give people a chance before you ask your second question. Okay. So now we're passing the mic for questions, and we want to recognize all who have questions. So please keep your questions brief, and I'll give you the mic.
Yes.
To answer them. No. Okay, we'll see.
It's coming around. Thank you.
Hi. So when you had us look at the internet for a moment, it looked like your homes are different addresses. So they're kind of scattered throughout the like Chapel Hill area, or?
Yes, ma'am. We have 3 homes at the Church of the Advocate off, what's that called, David? Homestead. We have a duplex on Mitchell Lane. That's where Miss Loretta stays. We also have another duplex on Craig Street in Chapel Hill. And the last 3 homes that we just built are in Carver on Broad and Hill Street.
Okay. And folks that that have a home for as long as they need it, that's actually owned by Pee Wee Homes.
Yes, ma'am.
Uh-huh.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how do you get the land for your homes?
Okay. So it's usually faith-based land. So the Church of the Advocate donated our land for our first 3 homes. They had some land on the other side of their church, right in front of their big, beautiful lake or pond. I call it a lake, but it's more like a pond. And that's where we built our first 3 homes. And I think this lady right here, what's your name? Miss Jan was one of the people to help build those first 3 homes. She came and told me that when she arrived today. Okay, next. Who else have questions?
Do you have people?
Hold it to your mouth.
Do you have people who are resistant to moving to a home, who would rather stay in the street?
Unfortunately, yes. We have had folks that we go through a whole pre-screening. We go through a whole interview process. Our staff, board members, residents do the interviews, and we interview people. And there are some folks that unfortunately do not return our phone calls. And so we have to move on to someone else. But what I did learn, that's a very, very hard thing to learn about homelessness, is that there are some people that don't want the responsibility of bills. I've had people tell me, I also used to work at Interfaith Council as a navigator in that department, and still dealing with people, still dealing with members. And that was a hard thing I had to learn, that there were just some people that would rather live out on the street because they didn't want the responsibility, or they were still dealing with alcoholism, or they were still dealing with drug addiction, or they were still dealing with domestic relationship situations. And that is very hard. But yes, ma'am.
I've read about programs that do the opposite of what you're doing. They put a homeless person, they give them a home first, and then that gives them a place to sleep, to get cleaned up, so they can go apply for jobs without walking in smelling or so you're saying you do the opposite. They have to sort of get to a certain point in their lives where they can accept the responsibility
Yes.
to be in your homes. So I wondered if you had any comments about why you chose to do it the way you're doing it, just sort of to provide an explanation, help me understand why your approach was different from the other approach.
Well, the resident support specialist concept, the department is to help folks deal with their issues. Like, we're not saying because you have an addiction problem, or because you have this situation going on in your life, that you cannot come and apply. So we are going to provide you with resources. Hey, here is the Freedom House information. Hey, here's the Oxford House information. Hey, there's some mental health issues going here. Here's a phone number to Alliance. We are partners with a lot of these other organizations to get the people connected to where they need to do what they need to do, the work they have got to do in order to be successful. Because there's just nothing like getting a home, staying in there 6 months, and then you gone. You right back. It's like going on a merry-go-round. oh, a seesaw. You know what I'm saying? Up and down, in and out, in and out. And then there's money and finances and people coming to give you deposit money and people coming to give you first month's rent and people coming to assist you with furniture and people coming to do all of these things, volunteers doing all of these things, and then ground zero. That is reason why we are constantly looking at not holding hands, because we want you to be self-sufficient. We want you to be independent. We cannot do everything for you, but we can help assist you. It's like a central resource center that people call me the resource lady, call me the resource girl, because when they know they need something, then I'm going to have a contact somewhere. And if I don't have it in 48 hours, I'm going to find it.
Question, am I correct in assuming that the rent, actual dollar amount of the rent different for each person?
It is.
Oh, so, okay.
Right.
So if they get a raise or something, if they start earning more money, does it go up
It will
commensurate
until the next year.
until the next year?
Until
Okay,
the
but
next year.
every year
You
you
think-
assess or down, right?
Yeah.
And they can, if it goes down dramatically, they can still stay in there at the, okay, that's nice.
We'll adjust it at the top of the year or whenever it's time to renew their lease, unless it's a large margin gap and somebody just don't
Yeah.
have a job, you know, something happen. And then
Right.
you have that escrow account that can help pad you.
Mhm.
And that's why that escrow is emergency situations only. And you have to have 3 months worth of your rent to even access it.
So I'd actually like to thank you all first because this is fascinating and it's such a cool program, especially because I see all these enormous houses being built that are so very expensive.
Mhm.
I mean, that's one of the things I'm hearing most from people who are like, 30 years younger than me looking for houses. And a lot of them, it's a double pronged problem for young people right now, because when I was in my 20s and basically pretty much a lot of that time, dead broke and a little more, at least rent was cheap.
Right,
And that is just no longer the case.
right.
And if you have expensive rent, it's very, very hard to ever come up with anything to pay for a house.
Right.
But I had a couple of questions. One of them was just based upon what Todd just said. What happens if somebody gets such a huge raise that they're no longer inside the amount that they're allowed to have the home for?
We actually are looking at a situation with one of our residents right now that has surpassed the income limit. He's a very, very hard worker. His name is Leonard Newsom. And those type of decisions, Quentin and I, who's executive director, and I work closely together. We talk about it and then we take it to our boards. That's why we have a chair board and we have an executive board, because we know that these little situations can come up, and it was decided to allow him to stay. Mainly it's because he's getting ready to retire. And we did not want to penalize him for doing awesome work on his job and being the man. He works in maintenance and is in one of the students' big place here and it's a lot of students everywhere and it's new and they love him. He does an awesome job. He gets awards, all kinds of stuff for doing his job, and we will not penalize him for making more money. And then in a year and a half, he's going to retire. So more of a case by case. Yes, ma'am.
As Katina said, I worked on the Pee Wee homes that are on Homestead Road with near the Church of the Advocate, and that was through an arrangement with Habitat. So they were doing the building. And what my question is, Habitat has its paid construction crew as well as all the volunteers, and it doesn't sound like you have any paid construction staff. But
No, ma'am.
how do you get the designs and the supervision for the homes that you're building?
Well, we have a lot of subcommittees going on, and so there are committees for all of those things. And like I said before, none of these people, our designers, our people that build the house, the material, all of that stuff is volunteers. Now we got to pay for the material for building the house. You know, that's where a lot of our funding goes, a lot of money goes. But the people that's building and designing and planting trees and building ramps for folks that are immobile, that's all volunteer work.
Well, my question is related to Maura's question, which is, I know you mostly serve people that are over 55. Is there something, an organization that is local that serves younger adults?
Well, no, we do have 2 residents that are not quite 55. And so we are looking at, as we're building, as we're evolving, to open the door to maybe a single parent and 2 children, or a married couple, or a family, we're a small family, because you can only fit so many people in a tiny home. But we're looking at those models.
Right. And I guess
Yep.
there are probably groups that do similar things like in other states. And
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then
And we're
thanks.
looking at building villages now. So it's just not 1 or 2 homes at a time. So everything is in steps right now. But I know this visionary right here, and I'm gonna let him talk about that. Oh, this visionary right here, and I'm gonna let him talk about that. He has a model that he's looking at where we can do an extra bedroom for a married couple with a small child, with 2 small children, and those types of things. David, I'm gonna let you talk.
So, maybe I missed this, but are you a 501c3?
Yeah.
No.
Well, we was talking about how our ceilings is like cathedral ceilings. And I kept looking at that, and I could see a way to make steps so you can be able to get up in the altar. And if nothing else, you can put your kids there, put a railing in the front, and put your kids up there to sleep and everything. Because it's big enough, it's about the size of the whole house, So you should be able to house a child, or adult, or somebody to get them off the street. And I was looking at that, and it just looks so promises that shoot, let's build them so they can use steps and get up there.
How much does it cost you to build a house?
That was coming. That was coming. Well, it's around $100,000. Material, and especially after COVID, everything went straight through the roof. And so, we have a person that specializes in grant writing. And they're also on the payroll. And so we have people that are out there constantly looking for the monies, the grant monies, the funding monies, the multi-billionaire that's just gonna want to write checks to us, fall in love with our organization. Want us to do what we do. We are constantly praying and all those types of things, because this is a great work and it takes all of us. And that's why I'm so happy about being before you today, to get the word out to people that may not even know we existed, that you need everybody in this fight. It takes all of us. Even the folks that can write checks, that's their part. They're not coming to help us build. They're not coming to plant trees. They're not coming to do flower beds or gardens, but they can write the check.
My question has to do with your ongoing expenses like property taxes. Do you have a reduced property tax rate in Orange County, in Chapel Hill and Carborough? Because Carborough is expensive. I live there. My taxes are outrageous.
Excuse me. And every time I try to cut it off, they call back. I'm gonna have to call you back, ma'am. Okay. All right. Bye-bye. I kept trying to cut it off.
So my two questions are about property taxes and then expenses for ongoing maintenance. Your houses are now, say, 10 years old. Appliances start to go, roofs start to leak, all kinds of things happen in the 10 to 15-year period. So
Yes.
can you help me
Well, now,
understand how
property
you're addressing
taxes
it?
may be more of an executive director answer. I do not have an answer for your property taxes. But for your other question, we have money set in different pots for different things. And whenever a resident is in need of something, that money is there. We have direct resident support. We have a pot of money for that, for those types of things.
There's the utilities. Is the resident responsible for all the utilities, heat, water, and
The resident is responsible for a $25 water bill, and they're also responsible for their electric bill.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you cover the insurance?
Yes.
Okay. I had one more thing and it came and it went. So sorry.
When's your next fashion show?
Can I say it again now?
When is your next fashion show?
Well, this year is going to be for the Jackson Center. Because what it is, the vision is every year, even and doing a good job. Some other ideas. Ooh. I got a lot of ideas, but really do days is put the like a gala, nightly gala, where it's semi-formal, and when you come, you pay for your plate, and I wanted to have something like that morning so in there. My big, like I said, a lot of things.
It's cool.
No, from scratch. Donate fabric. And that's what I'm doing, is I'm taking that fabric, because see, by me, quilter is some fabric you can't put in a quilt. So that's where the idea come for making these clothes for the fashion show. And I mean, I'm sure mostly taking upholstery fabric that you cover chairs with. I'm showing people how you can take that fabric and put in a garment and look just as good. So it's a circle thing going on. And like I said, it's my biggest passion for all the nonprofits that's on the, because if they're not on the ball, I'm not being bothered. But if they're getting people off the streets, giving people rights, I'm all for it. And I'm going to do it until arthritis keep on saying I can't do it.
I want to say, as a model, I wore a lot of his original designs last year. It was a lot of fun and we did raise some money. So if you guys have ideas and if you decide you want to become a volunteer with us, I am particularly wanting to do an auction. I've not done it before, so I would need some help with that, but I'm thinking about getting folks to donate items to auction off to raise money. Yeah, oh, it's definitely gonna be silent. Yes, because with the other one, it just takes a lot to do the other kind. But yes, we always need ideas to help raise money to build new houses. And I can't wait until we officially finish a village. I cannot wait. It's going to be so awesome. And we have a lot of our church community partners that are looking at building villages.
And I tell you, when we first came in the door, I could see something in here. Yeah, I could see how I could really, really use this size of space to put on the things that I need to help the community. Because everything I do is community-based, because when I teach quilting on Thursdays at Hargraves, it's community-based to put the students and the residents together and let's learn how to live and be happy, because we don't have nothing else. So we try to do the little things to keep people. And then also another line I do Arts of Ages twice a month. We make candles and crafts and stuff like that. It's to put the elderly and the students together and show them how they can live together and be happy.
Yeah, that was an amazing presentation. We totally appreciate you being willing to come here. Let's see. Are there any announcements from the floor for upcoming programs or other pertinent information? No one else? Oh, Maura has.
Don't come here next week. The doors will be locked. Nobody will be here. Second Sunday is always Zoom only. And also just as a reminder, first, second, and third Sundays are times that we're meeting. So fourth Sunday is either going to be ethical action or a Sunday off. I think the fourth Sunday in March is going to be the crop walk. No?
Yeah, 22nd. I'm sorry. Is that the fourth?
Yeah. The fifth Sunday is no King's Day, I thought that was the Saturday though. Well, regardless, first, second, third Sundays. Second Sunday, Zoom only. And following that is the board meeting, which everybody who really wants to have a thrilling time is welcome to attend. Your newly minted president will not be at the board meeting next Sunday because I will be singing. It is International Women's Day next Sunday, and I'll be singing with a bunch of women. But Solomon will be running the show. He is not here today, and I'm not sure he realizes he's running the show, but he will be. And I think Chris can tell us about what's going on next Sunday.
Next Sunday, we're going to have excerpts of a webinar done by the Southern Coalition for Environmental Justice, or SALC, Southern Environmental Law Center. I asked them to speak to us, and they said they liked keeping their Sundays free for their employees to stay home. So she gave me access to a webinar, so I'll have excerpts of that, and then we'll chat about that afterwards. So that's next week's program.
Have something else you want to say?
I wanted to say thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for caring. And Mr. Chris, thank you for opening this door of opportunity to speak to you fine people.
There'll be time like during refreshments where people can mingle and ask more questions and things like that. Who has the closing words today? Gretchen. Yeah.
Last meeting, I wouldn't have had anything this one, but I was the one that made the schedule. But that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you for the. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I would like to thank our greeter. I think it was Mary Luckhart. Is that right? That's right. And thank you to Gretchen for doing, as Christina said, the most concise closing words we've ever heard. And thank you to the three speakers for doing a wonderful job and giving us lots and lots to think about. And to Gretchen for what's a, okay, well, I'm getting to that. I have a schedule. Okay, I have now. Well, it says thank you for providing refreshments. So I think it's Gretchen, right? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You were running around with the coffee cups. Thank you to Aticha and Christina for providing our refreshments. And thank you for Chris for being the Zoom host. Anybody else? And thank you for Todd for going around with the microphones. And now our meeting is over, but our fellowship continues. Please give a warm greeting to the person sitting next to you with a smile and a kind word.